back, people, and today we're bringing on film on Tua and the Dolphins offense versus the Packers on Christmas Day. Now, obviously, news came out yesterday that Tua is in concussion protocol. He at least has symptoms and a possible concussion, and obviously it's just awful news. And now I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor and know like what he should do. And honestly, going through the game, watching the film, I do think it could have had an effect on his play. Obviously, the stats show that. But even on all three of his interceptions, like it seemed like his depth perception or something was off. It was uncharacteristic from him. Like even his worst plays hadn't been as bad as those throughout this season. And regardless if there was a concussion or not, this game doesn't really change my opinion on Tua. Like coming at it from a logical approach, a lot of QBs, a lot of players have bad games every now and then. Tua, in my opinion, is a good NFL quarterback. He's not elite. He's a guy in that like 10 to 14 range that has more great plays than bad plays. Like throughout the season, he's had a lot of great plays, playing like a top 5 guy at times. Obviously, the system's very friendly. The receivers are very helpful, but he's still playing at a high level for the most part. And then obviously he's had some struggles here and there, especially as of late, some bad plays. But versus Buffalo, and in the first half of this game, he looked pretty damn good. So I'm not too worried in the long run. I think, obviously, a lot of Dolphins fans now think he's terrible. That's just like the passion of the game. You know, people are all about recency bias. It's a hell of a drug. But I'm not too worried in the long run. Like, he's a good NFL quarterback. You can obviously upgrade on him and try to find an elite guy, but I just don't think the Dolphins are in a position with their picks and their cap space to really do that. So Tua's the guy. But we're going to start out really good first half from Tua. Second half, obviously, hopefully the concussion isn't too bad. Tua's first like successful pass of the day. Nice little concept play action out of shotgun. They get like a nice little, pocket created for him. Someone does get beat though, but he makes a nice read, understands the coverage. They're facing cover 2. They motion angled over and bring Robert Hunt around to create this pocket. The only problem is Connor Williams gets destroyed by this guy. So Tua does have to get the ball out quickly. As soon as he hits the back of his drop, he's just reading the coverage. He sees Waddle going attacking in the middle of the field, but sees this guy carrying. So he knows he's going to have Hill sitting down here. He throws with really good anticipation. This is why I think the symptoms definitely had an effect on his play, because he was throwing with a lot of anticipation in the first half. He was seeing the defense well, and like people were giving credit to the Packers for changing things up, but I don't think they really changed up that much in the second half. It was more of just Tua not seeing things as well, and just making some uncharacteristically mistakes. And like this one, really good ball placement, really good timing all around to get it, in between these box of defenders, put it away from this DB who's coming off of it late. Get Tyreek Hill out in space. Like Tua looked good early on. He looked good in a way where they were averaging like 20 yards a pass. Like pretty crazy stuff from the Dolphins in the first half. Jalen Waddle, man, like he's been a delight to watch this season. But even just these past few games, I feel like his explosiveness has even hit another level. Like insane plays from him, like the Buffalo touchdown last week. He just looks even more explosive. He's stepped up big time. He gets this, 84-yard touchdown from Tua. Pretty good work here from Tua. Nothing too crazy. He just gets out of play action. Guy's going to get pressure in his face, so he's just throwing off his back foot. But, good job. The play action really does pull these linebackers down. They were running the ball well early. I'm not going to show too many running plays because, the running game really stopped working in the second half as well. They were stacking the box. And then Tua obviously had a big 180. I don't know if it was the concussion symptoms or not. I lead towards it definitely played at least a slight effect on the game, but I can't say that for sure. But he hits the back of his drop, floats away, isn't able to step into this, and this is really good ball placement, putting it over these 2 defenders and this corner coming away, that it allows Waddle to come back towards the ball and then get his angle away from this corner. So just really good ball placement and just great feel from Waddle, catch this in stride, and then get around. And obviously, Tyreek Hill showing off his speed and just shielding this defender away. So as Waddle makes the corner miss, I believe that's Alexander, who was waddling after the game. I don't know why Waddle was cooking him, but he makes him miss. And then Adrian Amos in position to make a tackle, but Tyreek Hill just shields him. So great hustle play from Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle all around. Like, I think, coming from the Bills game, the offense looked really good pretty much the whole game. They came to this one, kept that momentum, and then something just changed in the second half. Could be the concussion. I saw some people trying to say that Tua just, once he makes one mistake, he collapses. I saw some PFF guy tweet that, which I could not disagree more with, because that's just hasn't been Tua historically at all, even through his first 3 seasons. Like, he's made mistakes before, thrown plenty of interceptions, but he usually responds very well. And even after his first interception, he was driving down, and then they had that penalty where Waddle wasn't lined up on the line of scrimmage, and then the miscommunication. Like, they were going down to score, like they had a possibility, and then there was the obvious miscommunication there. The timing of the offense was definitely on here in this first quarter. Off the play action, get the ball out quickly. Tua processing, just reading a defender. He sees this safety come down, and once he feels that momentum of the safety about to come down into the flat, get this running back, he uses his eyes well here to manipulate, sticks that foot in the ground, everything just clean there with the his mechanics, getting the ball out on time, just reading the defense well, like this play here from Tua, and then hit Tyreek Hill, giving him a good chance for yards after catch, and just Hill, Waddle playing absolutely amazing all season long, and especially as of late. It's weird going back through this game because, by the end, you're thinking it's like Tua's worst game of the season, which it was. Those 3 plays were bad enough to where it becomes his worst game of the season. But, like, he was pretty much lights out in the first half, which makes it so weird because I'm just going back play by play, and it's just like, oh, good, and great play, good play, great play. And then those 3 plays just absolutely destroy it. So, I mean, hopefully they don't let that define them. Somehow the Dolphins still have a good shot at playoffs. Even if Tua doesn't play, I could still see them making the playoffs. Here, he's just making a deep hole shot. And this is one I want to notice because his 3rd interception is kind of a similar thing to this. Like, he's throwing the hole shot here, and he's reading this corner. He's going to throw it to Tyreek, but he sees this corner sit on this and break, and then he resets, throws it over the top, and gives Gesicki a chance. This is a 1st and 20 as well. So, impressive play just reading the coverage, and they run the exact same coverage on his final interception. And I think he thinks the same thing's going to happen, but this time the corner peels off. I'll show you that later. So I just want to show you an example of Tua reading it well one play, and then the second time just doesn't see it the same way, and it gets intercepted. It was a good game for McDaniel in the play calling. This play action here, a great cover 6 beater. They're running cover 6, and Tua, great job maneuvering in the pocket, giving himself this lane to unleash to Tyreek deep. They've been hitting these deep balls, especially as of late. They get this play action going. One guy coming in off his right here. Hunt sort of drives him away, so Tua just gives himself a free pocket, allows him to, get a little bit extra on his step here. And how this works, they have Waddle on the left side here, tack the middle of this safety and this corner, and then sink his hips deep down the field at, about 15 yards, which takes the attention of these two, and then Tyreek Hill gets a one-on-one with a deep half safety on the other side of the field, and Tua unleashes it deep. Ball is maybe slightly underthrown, but it still gets there. Tyreek Hill, great job tracking. Obviously, when you get him a one-on-one with a safety like this, just great play call, good pocket movement. Tua gets the ball out there. Tyreek has to slow down just a bit, and then, they score the next play. I'm showing this play for one reason and one reason only. Alec Ingold, look at him just destroy 55. Ingold has been a beast this season. Really fun to watch week after week, and he just puts him on his ass. Ingold getting hyped there. Jeff Wilson, standard 1-yard touchdown. Good vision, seeing it. Didn't really have to run anyone over, making a mix, but he saw the play well. Pretty good game from him. The running backs both looked good in the first half, running the ball well, and then the Dolphins weren't on the field as much, so there was less running opportunities, and when they did run the ball, it was 1-2 yard gains. So I don't really blame McDaniel from going away from that. I know third downs as of late have not been as strong as the Dolphins. Early on in the season, especially that winning streak they were going on, they were elite on third downs, even 3rd and longs, 3rd and 14s. And this is one of Tua's best plays, I think. Packers running quarters. He drops back here. He steps up in the pocket, feeling the pressure. So great pocket awareness, giving himself, this lane to throw to. And then once he sees Sherfield starting to bend behind this linebacker, he throws with anticipation and then great ball placement because his safety's coming down. So he puts this low to protect Sherfield, and Sherfield makes the catch this time. I know he had the drop last week versus Buffalo, but he did make 2 catches that were low to protect him, and he made both of them, and they were both on big situations. So good job from Sherfield stepping up, making that adjustment. We can see it even better from this angle. This is my favorite play from Tua in this game, the pocket awareness, stepping up, the ball placement to convert a 3rd and 14, get 15 yards. Impressive stuff there from Tua. Obviously, I'm going in order of the game, so it obviously seems like I'm just being super, super positive. But at this point, there had only really been positive plays on offense, and then it really starts right here. I think this is, the biggest momentum shift in the game. the Raheem Mostert fumble. Like Tua, I know people always have to have someone to blame. I feel like whether it's Tua or Mike McDaniel or the defense or Josh Boyer, they always have to blame someone. To me, it's usually multiple people, usually a mix of things. Like obviously this game with the 3 interceptions, Tua is very easy to blame, and he deserves a lot of criticism for this game. I don't know if the concussion affected that or not, then maybe it shouldn't be as bad, but he deserves criticism for how he played at the end of this game. But I think Raheem Mostert probably deserves just as much criticism because he was involved on 2 big turnovers, and this is a huge one, this fumble right here. Like, this is the huge momentum shift because the Dolphins are up 10. There's about 2 minutes left in the half, and they're at midfield, and it's like 2nd and 2, so they're probably going to convert this, or at least, have a good chance of it, get down, run out the clock, and probably have a good chance of scoring as well. But this time, it just completely shifts, from being maybe a possible 13 to 17 point lead to now only being a 7-point lead because they get a field goal right after this. So Mostert had 2 big-time errors, and that really cost this team as well. I'm not going to show the play where Tua got the concussion. I just don't like watching those plays over where players get injured or the possible concussion. We don't know if it's a concussion for sure yet. But you can just tell he felt a little more uncomfortable in the second half, even on his completions, like escaping the pocket here. Like, this is a good play, honestly. Like, it's a 3rd and 8. They pick up 7 yards. They end up converting on, the 4th down the next play. But you can just tell, even when he has a chance here, like when he was early in the game, you could tell he was sitting in the pocket. Even if he was getting pressured, he would either step up or kind of throw off his back foot, give his receivers a chance. But he just feels this and starts to escape. And good job by Waddle coming back towards this ball. Tua makes a good throw as well on the run. Like, usually, you don't see these completions. Tua doesn't have the strongest arm, obviously, in these situations where he's not able to step into it. Doesn't work out too well. But, there were still some positive plays in the second half, but for the most part, specifically the 3rd quarter wasn't too bad. But the 4th quarter, it just seemed like something was wrong. Still in the second half, Dolphins offense still was coming out, making some good plays. The play action behind the back, they love doing this. They pull Robert Hunt. It sort of just creates like this clean pocket because the front Packer defenders are not just shooting up the field instantly, so it just creates a clean pocket for Tua. And right here, he makes a pretty good throw, really good route from Waddle too, setting this up. He finds this, they're playing man cover 2. Their guys are trailing. They have the help over the top on Tyreek. He's covered for sure, and he just sees all this space over here, and he throws it with good timing. Hits Waddle. Waddle is making big play after big play against pretty much everyone. Man, zone, didn't really matter. Okay, so now we're into the interceptions. Here's the first one to Jair Alexander. And you could just tell, like, something, like, with Tua here, he was pretty nonchalant with it. Like, didn't seem as snappy. Usually with his feet and his eyes, when he's trying to manipulate with his eyes and feet, he's usually a little more assertive with it, a little more not nonchalant like this. He's, like, looking with Waddle to throw it over the middle of the field. I mean, he could throw it to Waddle here right now, but Waddle would have to sit down. But he's going into 3 guys, and he just thinks he can hit Tyreek Hill in behind it. And I think he sees these guys in front. He tries to float it up, give Tyreek Hill a chance, but he floats it too much. Tyreek Hill is, not the tallest guy either, so it doesn't really have a chance at this ball at all. And it just floats on him, gets over the top. It's just that like he's made these throws before the season. Like, obviously, they run this type of concept a lot, and then they float it behind the linebackers. But this time there was just much less space, and he just wasn't able to get this. It floats over. It gets Jair Alexander the interception. I don't know if, those symptoms had an effect on this specific play. The one interception, the first one, obviously, those are going to happen eventually. Like, I'm surprised this type of interception has not happened more for the Dolphins because they throw these types of concepts, these in-breakers over the middle field, the attack zone, and there's always, like, guys in front of them, and Tua has to layer it over the top. And I'm surprised there just hasn't been more of these because all it takes is, Tua slightly, floating the ball or the receiver running the wrong route at the wrong depth or just a miscommunication, and these interceptions really hasn't happened as often, and that one just gets away there from Tua. Usually after an interception, I feel like Tua in his career usually has responded pretty well. I know the people on Twitter are trying to say that's not the case, but to me, he usually responds pretty well, and like he did for them, like at the start of this drive, like he came out, looked pretty comfortable. Like right here though, I feel like he didn't need to like step up in the pocket like this and throw this ball on the run. I guess maybe he just did this to give himself maybe a better throwing window to Waddle, give himself a better chance. And this is a good throw, throwing across his body. This is accurate, not an easy throw to make. And Waddle goes up, uses his body well, attacks the ball at its highest point. So impressive play there from Waddle. It just seemed still after that, possible symptoms, like Tua just seemed a little more uncomfortable. Like, yeah, he could have moved here in the pocket to get away from these guys, but like he didn't need to start running here. Like at this point, like they start, like he feels 95, but 95 spins off and he's pretty safe here. And he just moves up in the pocket kind of unnecessarily. Like he'd have just sat here and then delivered it with his, feet planted. But, it's a completion anyways. But it's just something that I was noticing, these little details changed from Tua after the possible concussion hit. Another 3rd and 7 conversion right here. You hit Sherfield low. They get man coverage, man cover 2. They motion him across. He's, reading over here to Waddle. Leverage is taken away from his route. Doesn't really like what he's seeing here. He kind of gets too widened. Guys in good coverage. He snapbacks to the middle of the field. He's seeing Sherfield start to sit down. And based on where 29 is, he puts the ball away from him low again. So really good ball placement there. Impressive adjustment too from Sherfield. Making another clutch catch on 3rd down like I was talking about earlier. I mean, Tua here looked pretty solid, pretty comfortable. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how the concussion symptoms work. If it's like an every second thing where things seem off, or just specific situations, depth perception, things like that. Because it did seem like on those interceptions something was wrong. I mean, another successful play late in the game from Tua. The Dolphins, like this was honestly a very smooth, like very comfortable. Like everyone was talking about the Packers adjustments and like they did stuff. They weren't falling for his eye manipulation here, but he's manipulating with his eyes. He moves the linebacker right here and, out of the way, giving him this lane for Tyreek Hill. And that's like a perfect throw to hit him in stride. Timing was perfect and everything. I like this setup because they throw this down like it's going to be a screen. They get this corner to bite down and then they can try to swing some stuff in behind it. Puts everyone in a tougher situation based on that conflict off the beginning. And then they get a completion. So, I mean, everything right there looked pretty good to me. This illegal formation right here where Waddle's just not aligned on the ball is such a big play that's going to go unnoticed in this game because it's a 2nd and 8 right here, and they pick up the 1st down, and Waddle gets up to the 10. So that's going to be 1st and goal, and then the next play is the interception. So the next play would have never happened because they would have not called that same exact play. Obviously, a bad play, an interception still could have happened down in the red zone or the inside the 10, but it wouldn't have been that exact play that happened right after this. You get Waddle going, hits, like this is a good play, getting the ball with good timing, throwing him away from a linebacker. Waddle is really good with his anticipatory yak. Look at this anticipation. He feels this linebacker, based on his leverage to the inside, catches this, is already making these decisions, then pushes up, leverage, knows he wants to get to the outside. He's so explosive, so smooth. Really impressive play. Just need to be on the line of scrimmage next time. I don't know if he pointed to him or not. You couldn't tell from this view. The play started a little bit late, so just unfortunate plays. In the 2nd interception, a clear miscommunication. I mean, after the game, Mostert said it was his fault. He ran the wrong route. Tua said he might have called the wrong play in his interview and took accountability for that as well. So we can't know for sure. All we know is it was for sure a miscommunication. And for him saying like he think he might have called the wrong play makes me think like there was definitely some symptoms. And all I know is, dude, bro, when I go on Twitter, or like I'll probably read some comments and people will say excuses. Honestly, probably my least favorite thing to hear. It's so annoying. First of all, like Tua could possibly have multiple concussions. Like it's going to be if he has a concussion, it's at least his 2nd one on the season. Like have a heart, first of all. He's a human being. Like he's been a great player. He's had a great season. Like this has been a great season overall. Obviously has not been perfect. You can still, have your reservations. You can still criticize him. That's very fair. But he is still a human being. And I just want, the best for Tua, first and foremost. Second, when it comes to people saying like, oh, you're just making excuses. No, I'm showing you exactly what happened. There's context behind each play, different nuances to the game. It's not just excuses. It's not all just on one player. Like the first interception was on Tua, straight up. Like he made a bad throw, bad read, whatever, you want to say was the major cause. But right here, it's a clear miscommunication. We do not know for sure who this was on. Tua clearly, like some people saying he's a first read quarterback. That was another big narrative of this game. Between the 20s, he's a first read quarterback. I think that is true sometimes. Sometimes he will make pre-snap Like, he knows where he's going to go with the ball. Like, right here, he is just disguising with his eyes. He's going out here just disguising with his eyes, and then he's going to sit this ball down to Mostert, but Mostert doesn't turn around, and it turns out to be an interception. This was a pre-snap determined read, and sometimes this is either Tua doing this, or I think this is what he is taught from, like, the scheme. Sometimes in the scheme, he only has 2 reads. Sometimes Waddle and Hill are the only 2 people running routes, and he's just manipulating with his eyes. But when he is asked to, make full field progressions, get through his reads, like, he's improved a lot at this season and has done it throughout the season. So I don't agree that he's just a one-read quarterback. It's still something he can improve on. But, like, in this game, with the system, what he's asked to do, like, the system is so good. Like, sometimes he just trusts in it so much that he makes that first read thinking it's going to be open, and he can still improve on that specifically, obviously. But overall, I don't agree with the narrative that he's just a one-read quarterback. He's clearly improved on that this season. There's plenty examples of him getting through multiple reads, getting to his 4th read, multiple progressions throughout the season when he is asked to. He's just not asked to do that all the time. The final interception, obviously, this is the play where I thought the symptoms, the concussion, could have affected him the most. Just seemed like his depth perception was off. Obviously, I showed you him beat that cover 2 earlier in the game when he threw the ball vertically to Gesicki. This time, they're basically just running a smash concept. Tyreek Hill going to the inside, a corner behind it. Usually it's just a hitch here, but Hill is running more of, a 5-yard dig. And people are pointing out how he should have thrown it to Tyreek Hill, and he should have. He is reading 29 here, who's the flat defender. He is expecting 29 to carry Hill to the inside, but he doesn't. He comes off of it this time and gets over the top. That's what I was talking about earlier in the game. He saw Douglas sink on that one route to Hill and throw it to Gesicki behind. This time he adjusts to it. And this is where I thought, the depth perception could have been off from the symptoms. I'm not saying that is 100%. I just think it's something to think about with this game. Like, when I'm thinking about the Packers game and how bad it was, there will always be that, taking the game with a grain of salt type of thing, because there could have been a possible concussion symptoms. So right here. And the ball is, really not even, it's thrown so far to the inside and so low as well. I feel like he probably saw Douglas coming off at the last second as he was about to release, and he was probably being like, oh, I should have pulled that back, and that's why the throw is even worse, because he missed this badly. This is uncharacteristic accuracy and decision making. Obviously, no quarterback's perfect. They have multiple interception games all the time. I think Burrow, who's been one of the best quarterbacks this season, had a 4 interception game this season. They've all had them. So I'm not too worried about it in the long run. I think Tua, like I said, is a good NFL quarterback. He's not elite. He has his clear weaknesses. He has a lot of strengths as well, like his accuracy, anticipation, getting the ball out with timing. He's very good at that. He's very good in this system. But there's some things that, limit him from being elite. He has his moments of playing like an elite quarterback, but then those inefficiencies, inadequacies to his game will lead to some bad plays here and there. And then, obviously, you got to think maybe that hit had an effect on how he was seeing, because clearly he woke up with a bad headache and had symptoms, and it's his possible 3rd one of the year. So I just hope Tua is healthy, honestly. I don't want to hear anyone saying excuses in the comments. It's not excuses. It's just what I'm seeing happening. Tua played a bad game. Those 3 interceptions make this game a bad game. He played good until those 3 interceptions. Specifically until the 3rd one, I would say, became really bad, because the first one was a bad interception. The second one, it's tough to say who that was more on, if it was more on Tua or on Mostert. And obviously the play before with Waddle makes that even tougher, because it should have been first and goal, honestly, on the 10. And then the 3rd interception, definitely his fault. And I think this is the one where the concussion could have an impact. So, and I'm saying could have, not for sure. I don't know. People acting like they know for sure, acting in absolutes. That's just not how this works. No one knows really anything. I don't know what Tua should do with his career. I don't know if retiring is the right thing. I don't know. Let him decide that. Let the doctors decide that. They're the ones who actually have the information about the situation. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.